Hello, voters of Scotland. I am very interested in hearing from you and why you voted the way you did in the independence referendum. My name is Christy Winters, and in 2010 I conducted a qualitative election study of Britain. Instead of relying only on polling data, I went out and talked to people in England, Scotland, and Wales to hear what they had to say about the election. Now I would like to do the same thing for the people of Scotland by asking you to tell me your vote choice stories. So here's the thing. I don't have the money to do a traditional collection of vote choice stories, but I still think it's really important that somebody does this. I think it's important for Scottish history and for researchers down the road who will want to know how voters were making up their minds and what they were thinking about when they cast their votes. So here is my proposal to you, the voters of Scotland. If you will do me the kindness of taking the time to send me your vote choice stories, then my colleague Edzia and I will collect them. We'll do analysis just like we did with the qualitative election study of Britain. I'll put links to our publications and to our website in the description box below. And then we will also do online presentations of the findings from our research to give back to the people of Scotland who so kindly gave us their time by telling us how they decided to vote in the yes or no referendum. And of course we'll then preserve them for future generations and future scholars, so that if in 100 years people want to know what were people thinking when they went to the polls in 2014 to decide on independence, they can go to real people's stories and they'll have living history to refer to. You can submit your vote choice stories to me either on YouTube. You can record it just on your phone talking to me casually if you want, then upload it to YouTube either as a public video, or you can just put it up as an unlisted private video and send me the link, and then only I will be able to see it. If you don't know how to use YouTube, use the voice recorder on your phone and just record the answers. Read them off the website, answer into your phone recorder, and then you can send me your voice recording at the email address I will put in the description box below. Or you can just do it kind of the old-fashioned way. You can write me an email, you can type it all out, write all the answers out, or you can go to the wintersresearch.wordpress.com website, and there's a form there where you can put in your answers directly and they'll go right to me. Basically, any way you want to submit your stories, I want to find a way to work with you. But before I read you the questions that I'd really love you to answer, I want to review a few points. First, I want you to know that for ethic reasons and how I'm going to handle your data, taking part in this project is obviously completely voluntary. You send me the things that you want to send, and of course there's no payment, but there's no requirement either. I will not use your name, your email address, or anything else during the course of the analysis, even if you put your YouTube video online for the world to see. When it comes to doing the data collection, I will give you an alias, and I will take out any identifying information. If you mention the city you live in, what school you went to, what street you live on, for whatever reason, I will take all that out. And I will make sure that the transcripts that are put in for future researchers comply with the highest standards of anonymity, and they also protect your confidentiality, so no identifying details will be passed on. You're also going to, if you submit to this, your words are going to be put into either the data archive or, in the case of independence, the appropriate Scottish body that would be doing data collection, and that's so that future researchers can use it, but of course it will be anonymized and all your confidential information will have already been removed, so that won't be a concern. I will want to be able to quote you perhaps in a publication or on YouTube or other websites. In order to do that, when you submit your videos to me for the purposes of the study, the agreement is that I will then have the copyright over the words that you've submitted. And again, that's just so that I don't have to track down every single person to ask their permission every time I want to throw a clip in a video. And if you have any problems with that, you can, of course, not participate, but it's more of a convenience thing. You're not losing any sort of rights to anything. There's not going to be a whole lot of money made on this project. It's really for scholarship and for preservation. And of course, when you're submitting any stories to me, you will be doing it voluntarily and that you're freely participating in this. We've just set up a qualitative election study of Britain YouTube channel, and we're going to be putting up other research we've done with our qualitative data from 2010. We're going to be putting up analysis of any vote choice stories we get from soliciting from you guys, whatever you guys are willing to send in. And if we get funding for the 2015 election, we're also going to be putting up information about the 2015 results and our analysis there. And here are the questions we'd really like you to answer. So if you want to think about this as a conversation, just play this video and then respond to it and just say, hey Christy, when you asked this, here's my answer. So here's my question. Did you vote yes or no? When did you make up your mind? Was it years ago, months ago, weeks ago, or only days ago? And why did you vote the way you did? What were the feelings or the policies, the ideas, or the principles that were most important to you when you made your decision? Looking back at the campaign, are there any moments that really stick out to you as important to your decision? And if they weren't important to your decision because you'd made up your mind a long time ago, what was your general impression of the campaigns? When you went to cast your ballot today, how much time do you think it took you approximately from when you got there to when you cast your ballot? And would you say that your voting experience was positive or negative or maybe just neutral? So for people who are submitting once the final count has been announced, what I really would like to know is, how do you feel about the final result? Given the results, how do you feel about Scotland's future? And finally, and kind of a fun one, if you were to make a sign that could be read by all the politicians in the UK, what would your sign say? Those are my questions. Please, if you do have time, I'd love to hear from you. They don't have to be long, but if there's one question that you really feel quite strongly about, maybe it's the why you voted the way you did question, spend as much time as you need to, or as much time as your recording space will allow. And again, we would really love to hear from you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you aren't interested in uploading a story or recording a story, maybe you know someone who does. And if you could forward this video on to a person that you think might be interested, that would be fantastic. Also, if you are tech savvy and watching this on YouTube and you know that your gran or your mom or maybe a colleague at work who's not too tech savvy but is really passionate about the issue, that they would love to give their story in. Another fantastic way you could contribute to this project is by helping us by recording somebody else's vote choice story who wants to participate. Obviously, don't do it secretly. That would violate the ethical commitment we have. But maybe you and a friend want to sit down and record your stories together, or you and your family want to sit down and talk about how your family voted. All of that is fantastic. So please pass this on, share it, do group stories. We want to hear from you. The more the better, and we thank you so much for your participation.